bring you greatness.
The power of knowledge.
Straight up. Okay. Oh shit. Actually, I lied because I'm dumb as fuck. I don't even have my notes open. Oh my god, when I opened my documents, I accidentally opened it on my personal account. And the first document that I opened was my diary, and there was some emo ass shit in there, and I was like, oh my god, wrong one. Holy shit. Anyways, I just thought that was, needed.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So today, we are talking about drugs.
But not in the way you think.
Probably in the way you think.
Maybe. Depends who you are.
Yeah, but basically I just kind of researched some stuff. I'll get more into it on the specific things. Also Halloween, because guess what, guys? Halloween was a few days ago, and I was a zombie.
I was Marinette.
She was the puppet from Five Nights at Freddy's.
It's
not everybody's gonna know what you're talking about if you say that, because the marionette is like a doll.
I look good though.
She did. Her butt looked fat, y'all. Anyways.
Who said that?
We're talking about Halloween and paganistic traditions, and also we're gonna talk about this strange TikTok that I saw claiming that Loki was the Christian god. And it's not on the list, but I had to bring it up because it low-key I'm so upset with myself right now.
Why?
Loki is the Christian god. Low-key. I'm not having a good time. Okay. Anyways, so let me get to this. So
we're just gonna skip over Loki?
Do you want to start with that?
No, it's whatever.
Let's talk about Loki. Okay, so today while I was at school, I had a TikTok come onto my For You page. Oh shit, actually, as I'm speaking of it, it is the first video to show up, which is very internally disturbing.
They're not hurting.
Oh my god, we should talk about him. I was really debating talking about him.
We can talk about him next.
So do you still think the biblical god is actually Loki in disguise? No, come on, definitely not. It's Baldur, the Norse god of light. It couldn't be. Loki tricked Hod, Baldur's blind brother, into offing him, which famously sets off Ragnarok. True, but once the pandemonium has ceased and all the other gods have perished, it's said that out of that desolation, Baldur will be resurrected. I don't know. And a single man and woman will emerge to begin the manifestations of the first humans, Ash and Elm. You know, that sounds a lot like Adam and Eve, who live in the Garden of Eden. But how did Baldur survive, I hear you ask? Well, we know that the Norse gods maintain their eternal youth through the apples from Eden's orchard. Garden of Eden, Eden's orchard. But Loki doesn't survive Ragnarok, does he? Purportedly, but perhaps the trickster god of mischief and fire slinked away to what little remained of his daughter's realm, Helheim, then shapeshifted into a snake to try and corrupt Ash and Elm into his favor. I'm not saying Christianity is just post-Ragnarok Norse mythology, but I am saying that I wholeheartedly believe that Loki would mess with the god of light by changing his own name to something that means Lightbringer, something like Lucifer. So do you still think the biblical god is actually Loki?
Okay, but that's not even the one I was talking about, because the one that I was talking about, I saved specifically so I could talk about it. Actually, I saved two, but we're not going to go through both. We're going to go to the first one. So, this basically, okay, so when he touched on, the Adam and Eve and, Eden's orchard, and then, Eden's garden, the Garden of Eden, it's, really similar. So, here we go.
You or me? Hey, did you know that Adam from the Bible lived to be almost 1,000 years old? He did? Yeah, and Eve and their kids and stuff lived for ages too. Yeah, if memory serves correctly, it was a kind of punishment for eating the forbidden apple in the Garden of Eden. God's divine law of witness or something, so people knew what went down. Hang on, he lives that long after eating an apple? Or some kind of fruit? Why? Well, it's probably nothing, but in Norse mythology, the gods gained their youth, vigor, and near immortality from the apples of Eden. That she grew in her orchard, that's right. That's a funny coincidence. Eden's orchard, Garden of Eden. Yeah, I mean, it just would make a lot of sense as to why God didn't want humans eating them. Right. Come to think of it, there is this story in Norse mythology where Loki orchestrates the abduction of Eden, and all the gods grow old and weak because they don't have access to her apples anymore. Don't tell me you think the biblical God is actually Loki. No. Of course not. That would mean that Loki offed all the other gods and rewrote history to pretend that he'd been the one and only God. Yeah, that would be dumb. Hey, did you know that Adam from
I
the
didn't
Bible?
understand the end. No, I got it, actually.
But like, isn't that weird? Cause like you never like, I don't know. It's strange to me, but I'm like really into like Greek mythology and shit, and I don't know. I find that shit really interesting. Cause like everybody, you know, is mainly Christian. Like where we come from, anyways. You know what I mean? So it's just
It is
I don't know.
So do you still think the biblical?
Why biracial people
Oh.
y'all don't want on like
Then you want to talk
That's
about
true.
it?
Yeah.
mix
I'm going
nowadays
to the
because of
account.
people like you. Like it's bad.
Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about just came up right now because I was thinking about it the other day because, I was like, what the fuck? Because I happened to come across one of those disturbing, like, lives, okay? And it's this white dude, and he does his edges and, like, puts on wigs and stuff and talks in a heavy black accent. And, like, like, it doesn't seem sincere to me. It seems like a joke, like a mockery. You know what I mean? But it's just, I don't know. Like, I can't tell if I take him seriously or not. I'm not gonna drop the app, but his name's Cooper. Um, why is he looking at me like that?
Why is his chin so pointy? Look at that big. Oh,
Why they was attacking me in the live so much. I mean, I'm literally so pretty. My hair be laid, lace wearing. Just giving gorgeous. I don't know why they hating. I don't know.
keep in mind this is a white guy.
He appears white, but is supposedly biracial. But he looks white. But then at the same, like, that's why I didn't know if I wanted to talk about it, because it's like, But to me, it's really who you're raised around. And I can't see him being raised around black women like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because he is so white passing.
that's true.
But I don't know, it just seemed kind of controversial. I don't know how to feel, because it's like, I don't know, it makes me uncomfortable, but then again, like, it's not about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, there's that. I don't know. I didn't know how to feel about it, and honestly, I'd kind of like to hear your guys' opinion. So maybe I will drop the ad. So it's, hold on, gotta join the live back.
Clock that team. I unmuted you.
His name is Cooper Hendley.
I mean,
Oh
like,
my
if
god,
you-
he scared me. But
Oh,
his at
shit.
is COOPERHENDLEY, all lowercase. So go look at his stuff and tell me if I'm meddling in shit that I'm not supposed to be, or like I don't know. What's y'all's opinion? Anyways.
Okay. Now we're gonna talk about drugs.
Wait, do you want to talk about the Halloween situation, since we were just talking about, like, Christianity and stuff?
Okay, yeah,
and
we can do
religion?
that one first. This one is Halloween and paganistic traditions. What does oh, it's paganistic.
It's paganistic. This makes it paganistic.
That's what you have it.
That's
you,
awful.
You have it spelled as paganistic.
Paganistic. That's how
Wouldn't
you
that
spell
be an
it.
E?
No.
Okay, Halloween and paganistic
I'm
traditions.
gonna hit you.
I had a brain fart, okay?
No, you didn't. Don't lie.
I was trying to read it as I was saying it, and the A's were throwing me off.
Pagan.
It's paganistic!
Paganistic, not paganistic.
Oh.
You got me?
Okay, Halloween and paganistic.
Anyways.
Halloween and
And pag-
paganistic traditions.
Just stop. I got it. I'll take it from here. Okay, so this is Halloween and paganistic traditions. Let me preface this by saying I have nothing against Christians, but I do have a problem with the fact that Christianity and Christian holidays are pushed out, by the government. Not necessarily the government, but like, okay, when the church and state separated in 1905 and the country got freedom of religion, yet Christianity was still pushed on to people, you know what I mean? They said, yeah, have whatever religion you want, but then like the way the government was set up, like the Pledge of Allegiance clearly states, "In God we trust," you know what I mean? Like, it's directly correlated because the people in 1905, when, that church and state got separated, that means that the church didn't have a say in what the state did like they once could, because America was discovered, and I say that in air quotes because if there's people already there, then it's already been discovered, you know what I mean? But it was taken over by English settlers from Britain to get out, of that monarchy. And so they started their own country. And yeah, and then because they started out with religion, like their religion, that they had in Britain that they had to follow, that was all they knew. You know what I mean? So they kept that shit all together, like with the government. Um okay, so basically how this all came to be was the other day I was in Spanish, and it was Halloween, and we don't get Halloween off. And but if it was Thanksgiving, Christmas, any of like the
Easter.
Easter, the day would be canceled because it's a Christian holiday that you're celebrating. But a lot of people from where we currently live, which is in the South, hardly anybody even celebrates Halloween because they're Christian and they think that it's evil. You know what I mean? And it kind of irks me a little bit that like important holidays for other nationalities of people, because like now that America is one big melting pot and has all the different nationalities in there, shouldn't the government cater to all of their citizens
Mm-hmm.
instead of just the white people who are Christians?
On God, though.
Like, doesn't that make sense? So like the Day of the Dead,
Dude,
in
I
Spanish
love the Day
culture,
of the Dead.
it's November 1st and 2nd, right? It's their holiday where they remember the people that they loved before, and
And
they
they
go
do,
and
like-
visit them, and
They do like parades and shit.
yeah. And so they do all that, and it's really important to like the Mexican culture. So why don't public schools take that day off for students? Because if they have a high like amount of people who, you know, are Mexican and follow that tradition.
Right.
And
Because,
so,
like, they should get the right to celebrate their holidays,
right,
just like we get the right to celebrate ours.
right. And that's why I was thinking, because, I'm not going to say I practice witchcraft, because that is kind of a big thing, but I'm not Christian. I will say that. And I do little spells and shit because honestly, I think it's more about how you manipulate energy. Because, I mean, everything has to do with energy. Everything has energy going through it, out of it.
Yeah.
But that's that's how I see it. And I think Halloween is an important time because it's the changing of the seasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like how, when winter ends, it goes to summer or whatever. I feel like,
Spring.
or spring, my bad. But anyways, I feel like they're really important because it shows the energy transferring into something different, right? So I was kind of upset because I was like, man, we should get Halloween off so I could like do some cool shit while we still got this day left. You know what I mean? But so that kind of sucked. So I
I
thought,
didn't even have time to go trick or treating.
literally, bro, I had to get home from school, and this was so important to my little brother. I got home, and my mom was, because we always do like a big Halloween party and stuff. So I come home, and it's like 5 o'clock because the way we get fucking dismissed is ridiculous, and it fucking sucks. So we get home, my little brother has been waiting because he gets off earlier because he's in elementary school.
He gets out at like 2:30.
Yeah, and we get out at like fucking 5. So he is already in his costume when I get home, and he is excited and ready to go get that candy. And I had to sit in here. I had friends coming still. I was like doing shit for my mom, and I just got home. Like, I'm trying to get out my school clothes and my costume, do my makeup, and Luke is constantly asking me, like, are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? And I just know that that wouldn't have had to happen if we had school off. You know what I mean?
And because I had soccer,
Mm,
I didn't even get to your house till 7.
right.
So by the time I put on my costume and makeup, it was 7:30. Trick or treat ends at 8. Like here in this specific neighborhood at least, trick or treating is 5 to 8. Like that's
Yeah.
the town wide. Like I wanted to go trick or treating,
Right.
but my stupid soccer coach head, he decided to plan a game at 5 o'clock on Halloween.
That is pretty foul on his
I
part.
didn't get any candy. And
Not to
candy,
mention your foot was already hurt too.
yeah. And like, I love Halloween. I get free candy. I don't have enough money to go buy candy. I wanted the candy. I love Halloween.
I know, and it's my favorite holiday, and I don't get to celebrate it because it's centered around paganistic beliefs. So, because church and state said they were separated, but obviously aren't. Like a lying fucking toxic couple. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, no, we're not together anymore.
The fact
But
that
secretly they are. You know what I mean? And they're conspiring against us and not letting other nationalities have their. I know, but like I
that
make
was definitely targeted.
well, no, not necessarily, because I've had a lot of friends who are like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I just, it just makes me mad because I mean, if you're gonna consider America a melting pot of like all these different nationalities, why can't you treat all of your citizens like they live there and you appreciate them for supporting your economy?
Like
You know what I mean?
Mr. Lee goes to Mexico just to celebrate the Day of the Dead.
Right.
Cause he's Mexican. He goes to Mexico just to celebrate it.
And that, I mean, he wasn't gone today, was he? Was he gone yesterday? Well, he didn't go to Mexico and celebrate it.
Day of the Dead was this week?
Yesterday and today, November 1st and the 2nd.
Oh. Well, he says he normally does, but I guess he couldn't get off.
Yeah. Not for that long, going to Mexico and being there for 2 days and then coming back.
Okay, continue.
But anyways, so I wanted to bring that up because I think that's pretty fucking ridiculous. Not to mention, like, when you were in school and stuff, like, as a child growing up, Christianity was, like, pushed. I don't know if it's like this in the North, necessarily, but
Or the West.
yeah, but, like, the way it is in the South, it is like Christianity. Like, I mean, every door in the neighborhood has a cross on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know. It's
And they like force it onto their children.
right.
So like if their children like does something that like goes against the religion, they get like kicked out, like out of the house. And I find that mind-boggling. You're gonna push your child out? Like, okay, this isn't like kind of related. This isn't related, but like it follows that kicking out. Like, say your parents are homophobic
Hmm.
and you come out, and instead of supporting them for what they believe in, on the streets.
Yeah,
For being gay?
Yeah, literally. You could, like, okay, I understand something that puts you in harm's way. Like, okay, they join a gang. Oh, that's not good. Put them out the house. You know what I mean? If it's something serious like that, but really, loving somebody, and you kicking them out for it.
Like, 13-year-olds, like that young age that comes out to their parents, they're expecting support and like open arms.
Yeah,
And they tell them to get out of my fucking house. That's beyond me.
right. So that's what I'm saying. Like with this, like, okay, my brother was so excited to go trick or treating. Half of the neighborhood didn't do it. Half the neighborhood doesn't even celebrate
And-
Halloween, and it's just kind of sad, you know, because it's so important to so many people, and it's kind of like Halloween is starting to fade away a little
No,
bit.
I was about to bring that up because you remember when we were young, every
Uh-huh.
single house in this neighborhood passed out candy.
Yeah,
and
and
now-
it was way busier than
And
it
it was so, it's normally so busy, like trailer full of kids from other neighborhoods come to this one because we're known for giving out a lot of candy.
Mhm.
But this
and
year,
the people on that road down there beside us where
yeah,
there was one house and they would like dress up, bro. Like, I mean, like, dress up, and the other people, with the red gate,
yeah, the red gate, they always set up like this
like,
haunted house type
yeah,
of
like you
thing.
can go into like their backyard and their
And
back
their, like,
porch,
garage.
and yeah, and it's all set up and it's so cool. But they didn't even do that this year.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's like this year, like 1/3 of the houses passed out candy. When we were
Right.
young, we had the whole fucking neighborhood.
Right.
It feels like Halloween is fading away because
Right.
did you notice not that many people dressed up either?
Right.
And it's just like, what the fuck? This is my
Right.
favorite holiday. Why is it fading away when it's somebody's religion?
Yeah.
Like,
just because it's somebody's religion. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like they Christians take over Halloween. Okay, and they say what it is, so what's up? I'm sorry, that's not what they say.
Why did I just find caramel?
Shut up.
Okay.
But so Christians take Halloween and they say, "Hey, carve out this pumpkin, put a candle in it, put it on your porch. You will keep all the spooky little things away." Okay? But in the religion, it's literally celebrating a demon.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah. It's like,
It's called I'm not even gonna try to say it because I'm gonna butcher the fuck
wait,
out of it.
I can do it.
Can you?
Where's it at? What is it? That one?
Mhm.
Samhain?
Saman?
I was thinking Saman.
I don't know. I probably butchered that so bad. But I
Samayan?
mean, I don't know. But
Okay, yeah,
the
yeah.
point of it is, though, it doesn't matter if it's a demon, because to me, you wouldn't have shit in life if you didn't have some kind of balance. You know what I mean?
It's not really. I read what you wrote. It's not really worshipping like the devil. It's just like it's mostly associated with death.
Yeah.
So it's like worshiping
It's like the
death
death of the season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the rebirth and renewal of the
Yeah.
upcoming seasons. You know what I mean? Or I guess it's more or less welcoming the death. You know what I mean? So that you can grow and change.
And when in elementary school we would have to do
The pledge.
The pledge.
And when I was in kindergarten, they made us say prayers like around the table. I don't
And like,
I don't know if that was just my particular teacher, but I remember being in like kindergarten or first or second grade, and we like did a prayer with the teacher.
but you have to think that the Pledge of Allegiance, once we got out of elementary school, I don't remember ever doing it again. Like, it was only specific in the elementary schools
Right.
to like target those little children
Yeah,
who will
who-
believe anything they hear.
Right, and then they're gonna grow up and being like, "Hey, mom, what's God?" And then they'll tell them the story, and because they're Christians, because their parents told them to be Christians, and they didn't have that, different mindset, and didn't have access to any knowledge from outside sources. That's all they knew. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So obviously, these families are gonna be like, "Oh God, like let me tell you about him," and
And they're
these
going to
kids,
tell what they believe. They're
Right.
not going to tell the full story.
right,
They're only going to tell you parts that they know that make them who they are.
right, and make them Christian,
Yeah.
so that hopefully, and like they'll,
We don't even really get a choice as children. Like,
right, it's
what
pushed onto
religion
you.
do we want to
Like
believe?
if you don't say the Pledge of Allegiance, you're in trouble. We're calling your mama. That's wrong.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful.
Like, if you didn't stand up during the Pledge of Allegiance, the teacher, like, pulled you out of class
right.
and told you, like, you have to do this, you have to do this. It's
Right.
mandatory.
Like, isn't that fucked up?
Yeah.
Because you're pushing on to these kids a religion that is stuck like a sticker onto our
Yeah.
our
I think
continent, bro. Or
your parents, when you're okay, this might be like controversial to y'all, but I think when parents have a young child, they should tell them all the options
worry.
of religions,
if-
what they are, the sexualities, what they are. I think they should be able to know, so when they get to that point in life, if they fall under any of those, they know how to do it.
Yeah.
They know what to do. They know who they are.
Right. But because see, technology is only like a recent thing in the years. You know what I mean? I have access to go onto my phone or my school issue Chromebook and research as much as I want to about different religions.
Exactly.
But my mom, on the other hand, didn't have technology until she was like in high school.
Exactly.
So if her parents told her that there was only one God, which in the Bible he says, I should be the only God that you worship, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're gonna believe him. They don't have any way to know about anything else.
Right. Exactly.
But it's fucked up now though that like that's happening still. Like with the Halloween thing, you can see it progress.
And it sucks.
Yeah. But I know how I'm gonna raise my kids, and that's all that matters to me because my kids will be the, proceeders of me
Yeah.
and will one day rule the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the next generation. But anyways,
I'm gonna raise my child to be an independent bitch.
oh god, because like even just like with the religion stuff, like I think it's important to know because like with the Bible and stuff, it really goes into like putting yourself down for this God who is like, if you read the Bible, he kind of comes off as like insecure. You know what I mean? Like
This is like
only worship me, pray to me, be
guarding
merciful
like
to me. You know what I mean?
yeah, guarding like the religion thing. So when I was little, I would go to like my aunt's and like I would go to church with her because that's who I was with and that's what they do. And it was like I think it was a Catholic church, I don't know. But I realized that I don't I don't think
Yeah.
I don't under what
Yeah.
the
Like you just
like I don't believe in what they believe. Like this isn't my religion because I'm Baptist. Like my whole family is because that's what we believe in. So
Mhm.
I'm just like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Because like that's not what I grew up to think. So
Right.
it's just like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm
'cause
not interested in
Summer's
this.
Catholic. Summer's Catholic, and they do the Lent and stuff where they don't eat meat and all that. And I never understood that because like fuck, I'm gonna eat what I want to eat.
I
You know what I
love
mean?
meat, bro.
If it's in access to me, then I'm fucking eating it.
Yeah.
Weed. I just want to start on like, what do you think about weed? Like, I want you to tell me everything that you know.
I mean, I know a lot of people think it's like the devil's grass in quotation marks, but I don't think it can be harmful, but I don't think it's as harmful as people think. Like, if you go into smoking, like your first time, and you're scared, when you get high, it's just gonna go up.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get paranoid and shit. But if you go into the mindset, like, I want to be calm, I want to relax, then that's what's gonna happen. It's really just, I wouldn't say manipulating your mind, but it's like helping you feel what you want to feel in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like you, when you smoke, you before you smoke, you write a list of like things you want to do and shit, and then you smoke, and then it helps you be
Mm-hmm.
motivated to do that shit. And
Mm-hmm.
also, it helps you sleep like a fucking baby once your high goes down.
On me, bro. I get like the best night's rest I've had in years. Just like that.
But like, if you go into it like thinking, like, what if I get addicted? What if I get addicted? All this shit, you're gonna get addicted.
Mm-hmm.
And like weed itself, like nicotine itself is addicting,
Mm-hmm.
but weed itself is not. You cannot, it's scientifically proven you cannot get addicted to weed. It's the feeling you get addicted to.
Mm-hmm.
So, that is my knowledge.
And if you want to change that up, bro, switch the way that you smoke. If you get high from hitting pins, try edibles. Okay. If you get high from eating edibles, try smoking bud. If you get high from smoking bud, try hitting a pen. Okay? I mean, that's really all it is. But, and you only need one bad experience with marijuana for you to take a break. I promise. Anyways. But that's honestly what I've been saying, though. Like, the way I see marijuana is like, it's not a mind-altering drug. It's a mind-enhancing drug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because your mind doesn't change. It doesn't change or alter. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
just magnifies. Whatever you think about on a daily basis, is there, but it's bigger. It's like,
It's gonna be on the forefront on your mind instead
Right.
of the back.
Right. And
And
like,
like stuff you're like,
get high is that the way my mind tells me what to do, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because like usually when I'm doing stuff, I'll get really distracted from like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But because like when I'm high, it seems like the voice in my head is much louder and much clearer.
Yeah.
And that is like really beneficial to me, I believe. And like to say that it changes the way you think is just it's not true. You know what I mean? All it does is it enhances it, okay? And it like it swells, if that makes sense. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It swells but also clears. And I think that's pretty cool. And sometimes you need that little reset. So that's all I'll say about that. What do you think about marijuana being legalized?
I mean, I hate to say this, but like, yeah, it's illegal here, but like, you can go down the street and someone's selling it. So like, I can see why it's illegal, but
Why is it illegal? Like what do
I
you
don't
think it
know.
is?
I don't know.
Why would you say that you do?
I just think it wouldn't hurt more than it already is to be legalized.
Right.
Because, like, in this city, you go down the street and somebody is selling marijuana.
Right.
Alright? Somebody's selling it. Now,
And
would they
you're
be
not gonna
expensive?
stop them. You're not gonna stop them
No.
from selling it because it's just what we do.
Yeah, like, they're just gonna pay the money from the weed to get out.
Right.
Like,
I just okay. Well, I think why it is illegalized is because of like how weed was portrayed like in our starting country.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about this.
Yeah, so okay. I said okay. Well, I think marijuana should be legalized because I mean it's being sold and distributed anyways.
Cause with the medical dispensaries,
Right.
how many people do you want to bet with those licenses give weed to their kids or something? Like,
But it's not even that. You can go to a crackhead and get a dime bag of weed for a fucking $1.
you know,
You know what I mean? And like it could have anything on it, bro. He could have been snorting a line while he was,
yeah,
crushing it up. Or not crushing up, but like
yeah,
grinding it up. And when your kid is going through a hard time and it's like a teenager, okay, and they're having a rough time and they're like, man, I'm gonna try weed. Would you rather them get it from the crackhead who's selling it for $1 or the doctors? You know what I mean?
exactly.
With like, it's either way, it's gonna be used. Why not get it from a safe and legal, situation?
The thing about this town is it is often for people to lace the stuff they sell.
Right, and not even
But
on
it's
purpose.
but now it's the fact that no, some of it is on purpose. Because now people are lacing pens. Like they'll buy pens, lace them, and then sell them to minors.
Well, that's like a whole like human trafficking thing.
Yeah.
That's like a scheme.
And so that is like the part that kind of puts me in between. But I think it should be legal. Because
I think it should be legal and easily accessible. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
tobacco. Because, I mean, shit, tobacco is really kind of worse for you than marijuana is.
And if
Marijuana.
you go to like Chicago,
Uh-huh.
like it's legal there. Like you'll see someone walking down the street smoking a blunt. Like
Speaking of, bro, I went to Europe. Okay, so I went to Germany and France, and they do not give a fuck. Like I was in Paris and like you could just smell straight up weed. Like just straight up gas. Okay?
yeah.
And then there's this dude in this like alleyway huffing a joint. And I'm like, bro, if I were to like see that shit, like you'd be immediately arrested.
Yeah.
Like the only times I've seen any kind of like weed things was at like our local gas station. You know what I mean?
When they were doing the deals.
No, not doing deals or nothing because
They would always
no.
seem to catch them at gas stations.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm trying to say. Though.
No,
Like the
yeah,
only
yeah.
times I've ever smelt weed is like going into a gas station and there's just one motherfucker who just reeks of fucking
Or
weed,
like,
and then he's like standing in the line and you could tell he's paranoid. He's kind of like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
But
that's
like,
the only times.
even at school, I'll be walking down the hallways and I'll just get a
Well,
whiff.
now it's kind of changing.
Yeah, I would.
But I mean, like when I was younger,
yeah,
that's
I'll
how I
get
knew
a
about it.
whiff of weed. Like,
Mhm.
it is 8 o'clock in the morning. I would sleep the rest of the day once that wore off.
Right.
Like, I couldn't do it. Like, not that early. That's why I always do it, like, at night. But also keep in mind, I do not smoke a lot. It's not something I do often.
Right.
Like, it's not a need for me. It's not like, oh, I get up, I smoke, I go to sleep. You know, like, I don't do it often.
I like to think of it because like I do smoke and I feel like I do smoke on a regular basis. I try or I don't try, but like you know what I mean. Like I get high about like once a day. I've never gotten high like multiple times in a day.
No.
You know what I mean? But like once a day is like living for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
But,
that's
like,
just
also, like, it helps
that's
you, like, relax and, like,
right. It helps me because I have, issues that I benefit from it. You know what I mean? Like scientifically proven benefits from it. But I mean, understandably, not everybody is going to benefit from marijuana, but also not everybody benefits from fucking I don't know, allergy medicine. You know what I mean? Like it's different for every person.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some people can't have certain medicines and they just don't work on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some people it does work on them too well sometimes, you know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
sometimes it's just yeah. Just on depends on the person. But I don't think it should be illegalized just because it's not beneficial for everybody. But anyway, so why I think it's illegalized is because, well, why do you think it's illegalized?
Because they have the mindset that it alters your like thinking space. Like
Right.
they think it's hurting everybody and that it's like changing who they are.
Right.
But I don't think it does.
I think it just So because okay, so you think it's like illegal because people think that it changes your mind, you know, and who you are.
Like that category. But like I agree with you. I think it alters it cuz like say like
Do you say it alter? Does
not
it alter?
not
Or
alter, but it amplifies. And like what you were saying, like if you're in a big group, once it hits for everybody, you can see like the mood shift.
mm-hmm.
Like not necessarily like go down, but shifts. Like people start acting different, they start talking different, because that's what they were trying to hide
Right.
on the everyday basis. But once that gets in their system, it's like this is who I am. Like
Right.
that's what I think.
Exactly. That's how I think. I mean, yeah, it makes you giggly and shit, but I mean, it's releasing dopamine. You know what I mean? That's some shit that people
Yeah.
don't get on a regular basis.
No.
But basically, I think yeah, that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it also comes from like a sense of racism and discrimination.
Oh yeah, speak about that topic because I found that really interesting actually.
Okay.
I remember you talking about it and I find that really fucking interesting. So I want you to speak about that part.
Okay. So I say, why is weed looked down upon? Weed is often looked down upon by many, but okay, I'm actually not reading that part. That's just questions. That was just like for the topic thing. So in early Europe before United States,
Can you not see? Do you want me to read it?
I got it.
Okay.
In early Europe before the United States came to be, weed was not very popularized, at least not by white people, because marijuana was used more in South Asia, where it supposedly grew better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I mean, it's more moist. You know, it's like a majority of the U.S. is just like plains.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's assumed that the racism from white Europeans used weed as something to use against the majority of consumers who weren't white, demonizing the marijuana. So they'll be like, they'll tell their kids, you know, like, do not smoke pot because that's what those, you know, other people do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like
And
what
they're using it as, they'll say, you know, oh, it's the demon stuff, it changes people, or whatever they want to say, you know, because they could have been, you know, one day in their late teens, they decided to like switch up a little bit, you know what I mean, and not be a fucking racist shitbag and smoke with some people who weren't white, and then they were like, no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then they'll tell their kids that, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I just don't think that people understand that it does come from a sense of racism. Because, I mean, like, even with the Native Americans, you know, like, they pass peace pipes.
Yeah.
You know, like, when they're in a group setting, that's how you show your true self to people. So, like, yeah, a peace pipe, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then, yeah, the American settlers are gonna come in and they're gonna be like, what the fuck? This
Why
shit
would you do this?
stinks.
Like, what is this?
Yeah, this shit stinks. And then, you know, they'll take hits from it and they don't know how to smoke pot because they've never smoked pot before. And they're grown ass adults and then they get humbled really fast by, you know, how that experience goes. And then they demonize it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think if everybody just stuck with their first experience getting high, they would never enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like when
See,
I
but
first
my first time, it was fun for me. Like, what happens to me now is the same thing that happened my first time. Like, because I just get really like relaxed. Like, want to sit.
what I'm saying though is like a lot of people like when they first start smoking, they're gonna think, oh man, this shit hits easy, and they start hitting it and hitting it, because bud is really easy to smoke.
Yeah, it is.
And also, the high usually comes later after you smoke.
It's
You know what
not
I mean?
immediately.
Right, so if you're in a circle passing it around, by the time you've gone through like a couple bowls, you're probably fine. You think you're still sober. You stand up, bitch. Stand up. That shit will change.
Stand up,
Um,
take my wheels. Sorry.
so that was just like the idea of like racism being why marijuana isn't popularized as much as it is or could be. You know what I mean? Um, so another thing that I don't understand and is a part of my argument when I say that marijuana should be legalized is because it really does no harm. It really doesn't. If you, unless you're getting it from a fucking crackhead who put fucking coke on it, you should be fine. You know what I mean? If you're getting it from like people who raise the plants and harvest the plants and trim the weed,
Yeah.
you know, all that, it should be fine. But you know, and that's only going to change if they legalize it and have people who are assigned to do that, you know what I mean? And people can get it from a trusted source.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
agree.
but like alcohol, you can get a fake ID, walk into a gas station, and get a 6-pack. And alcohol can kill you.
Yeah.
And then like sleeping pills, you know, that is like chemicals ground up into a powder and smacked together that you ingest. Why not use a plant that comes from the earth that has no particular, I mean, you know, harms?
Yeah.
Like, it's perfectly safe. It's from the earth. You hit it a couple times, you take a nap, boom. You know what I mean? But
You
sleeping
ain't gonna wake
pills,
up from that nap till the next morning.
but the sleeping pills, if you take some sleeping pills and then use your fake ID and go into the fucking gas station and get you some alcohol, bitch, you're dead. You are gone.
Because that alcohol mixes with those chemicals and it's harmful.
Right. Exactly. When all weed is it's like one fucking little thing. Okay? It's like this is the molecule, okay? And it fits into the brain receptors like it's a part of your brain, but it's not.
Yeah.
You know? And it basically has a tiny little reaction and it's like, you know,
Yeah.
that's it. But when you have all those fucking chemicals, that shit will kill you faster than weed does. I promise. um Do you have any advice to give to people who want to try smoking?
All I'm gonna say is don't don't go into it scared. Don't go into it paranoid. Because if you do that, that feeling is just gonna get worse because it amplifies, and then you're never gonna want to do it again because all you remember is that first experience.
Right.
You need to go into it like calm. You need to go into it relaxed. Don't go into it panicking.
Yeah, and make sure you have the right people around you, like
Don't
people that you trust. Do not do this shit with like
someone
folks
you're
that you
uncomfortable with.
yeah, do not. Do it in a safe environment. Um and yeah. But just make sure, you know, that you're with people that you trust in a safe environment where you won't get freaked out or anything, so that way your hike can go smoothly and nicely. Um Magic mushrooms. You want to read it?
Yes. Okay. Oh shit. Which one is it? Oh. So like I want to start out with that we've never done shrooms, okay? This is purely based off of research and looking into that Miles did, okay?
And also, I have a lot of people who I hang out with who have done shrooms, so I speak from their experiences and research.
So the differences between natural and artificial psychedelics. there's not many noticeable differences between synthetic and naturally occurring psychedelics. Synthetic drugs come from nature.
Pause. Between natural and artificial psychedelics. If you could just like tell me.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So there's not many noticeable differences between synthetic and natural occurring psychedelics.
So like MDMA, like the chemicals or like acid, you know,
Yeah.
is that different from like mushrooms? Like does it have different effects?
Yes. I actually know. I don't know. Where is that out?
I'm asking you. You need to read.
Oh, okay. So for example, cocaine comes from coca leaf. Heroin comes from the opium poppy, and the others come from the poison secretions of certain toads.
Right. That's MDMA.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Some would argue that mushrooms specifically are more safe for your body than synthetic psychedelics. However, the chemicals are chemicals that are simply interacting with your brain, but splitting some of the chemicals into individual parts won't necessarily change the dynamic of your trip.
Okay, so she's reading the script because I wanted to munch on some of this candy. But let me explain a little bit more in depth. So, I was watching a podcast video by these people who I really do like watching, and I'll put them in the description when I'm editing this. But basically what they were talking about, this dude is like a doctor, okay, of like dealing with psychedelics, and he has a lot of friends who do like psychedelic therapy
Yeah.
and like conduct like research on that shit. Right? So the question is there any difference between synthetic drugs and like the naturally occurring drugs? But and by naturally occurring drugs, they mean mushrooms. You know what I mean? They mean psilocybin mushrooms.
Yeah.
Um but the truth is like almost all the drugs you get like MDMA, it's man produced, but I mean it comes from the toxins of a frog. You know what I mean? So like everything, even heroin, like no, heroin does not come out of the ground, but it does come from fuck, what does it come from?
Opium poppy.
Opium poppy.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so heroin comes from the poppy plant, which is like extremely like, you know, toxic. But yeah, but like that's all that is. So no, synthetic drugs and mushrooms are not necessarily different because all they're doing is taking something and adding more chemicals to it, but the only chemicals that are really going to like do anything is the chemicals from the natural resources that they got it from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So no, they don't really have anything to do with that.
Okay. So psychedelic therapy. They're usually used for like mental health, depression, anxiety, PTSD, that stuff like that. Many people are skeptical because of the wide range of disorders that psychedelics seem to help. But unlike marijuana, it won't work for everyone. And not everyone's going to be benefited from doing.
Not unlike marijuana. Alike.
Like marijuana. It's gonna be benefited. It's not everyone is gonna be benefited from doing them, but that doesn't mean it won't help others.
Right.
Like everybody's different. And like, yeah.
So people are like discriminating, or not discriminating, but they're very skeptical, okay? Because people are like, wow, you know, like guess what we learned mushrooms can do? They can help with this, and this. And they're like, wow, that's a lot of things. There is no way that what you are speaking is the truth. just because it's not the truth for you doesn't mean it's not the truth for other people. Um, from what I've heard, shrooms can be like revolutionary, and you can find out things about yourself that you didn't even know about before. So that's why it's often used in like mental health things
Yeah.
like PTSD and all that stuff. Because a trip is a trip, okay? You're taking a trip to like an entirely different,
It gets you off that mindset.
yeah, like
Like
it takes you to an entirely different place. You know
like
what
a
I mean?
different perspective of
You're
everything.
obviously going to like learn some stuff about yourself along the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But the dangers for psychedelics, um, anything you take into your body is going to have risk and potential dangers. But specifically with psychedelics, if you're predisposed to some mental illness like schizophrenia, it's possible that it can get worse while interacting with psychedelics. Another example is, let's say you have a mental illness that runs in the family and you don't know if it's possible that the and you don't know about it is it possible that the hallucinogenic, how do you pronounce that, hallucinogenic
Hallucinogenic.
could trigger those illnesses. However, this doesn't apply to everyone. Not everyone is going to hallucinate, but some people might because maybe it runs in their family, like maybe.
No, what I'm saying is, well, I'm not gonna say that because but what it is, um, like if you know that BPD runs in your bloodline or whatever, like through your family, and you take shrooms, it can get worse. Or if you have schizophrenia and like down the line or something, or depression or something, you take shrooms and you're like, holy fuck, I'm really anxious and depressed right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It can be because of the shrooms. So the shrooms can basically activate those parts of you that you didn't know that you had, which honestly I think is just another reason why it's good for therapy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because you do have to face your demons before you can reinvent yourself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You have to know them. You have to get through them.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Can't just skip over it.
No. That was it.
Um. Hmm. We are all out of things now.
I mean, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I want to hear about your specific views on religion.
I mean,
Like exactly what you believe in.
I don't really know though. I don't think I've done enough research on different religions. I'm just here.
It's kind of hard to even research religions like nowadays.
Like, I don't really believe in anything specific. Like, I'm kind of just here. Like, I'm just living, man. Why be categorized to one specific thing when you can just be you?
Yeah. And
Like, no, but like when I say that, I'm not saying I don't believe in certain stuff. I'm not saying I do believe in certain stuff. I'm just saying, why bother with it when you can just be yourself?
right, well,
Like,
I'm not saying like what religion are you asking
yeah.
for like a certain thing. I want to know what you believe in, like as far as like gods and how the earth works and how the afterlife, what happens after you die. I want to hear about that.
So, like, what I believe in.
Uh-huh.
So, um, I I believe that God's real, but I don't believe that He created everything. Like, I believe He's there, but I don't believe that He said, "Let there be earth," and like it was just created. I think it was always there, and then over time, just like.
So then where did God pop in at?
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't. That's just my mindset. Like, I haven't thought any further about it. Like, that's just what I believe. I Getting onto like the afterlife and stuff. I I don't know if I believe in reincarnation, but I do think it could happen.
Mhm.
Like, you don't just die, boom, that's the end. Like, I believe in past lives.
Mhm.
Because, like, I don't know. It's just, I don't think it's not real. Like, I believe it could happen.
Yeah.
I don't really believe, I hate to say this, but I really don't believe in the heaven and hell. I don't. Like, it's
Right.
just,
I just think it's because let me say this, okay? Because this is what I believe. So because everything in Earth or in the world, from my perspective, has balance to it, that you can't keep your energy. You know what I mean? Like after you die, your energy moves.
yeah.
Where it moves to, where it goes, who knows? But it doesn't stay with you. You're not going to be conscious
No.
in heaven and be like, wow, what a great life I live. You're dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember my great grandma was telling me about, like, okay, this is kind of sad actually. She's still alive and everything, but she was talking about how when she was in, or like when she dies and goes to heaven, she hopes that it's really pretty and stuff. I was like thinking in my head, because she is like such a hardcore Christian. Like she used to burn my grandpa's like records and stuff because apparently they were like demon music, like the Beatles. Like yeah, she was a part of the church who like just took that shit and burned it.
Oh.
Yeah, like it's not even that long ago. Like these people are all still alive, and that was like what she lived in. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
destroying stuff because it's demony or whatever the fuck. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like if you don't have anything that's evil, you won't have anything good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it
Like
has to be balanced.
right, everything revolves around balance.
Yeah.
That's what I
Like
believe.
you're
So
never gonna be like 100% happy without feeling a little sad.
right, like cuz there's nothing to compare it to.
No.
You know what I mean? If every day was good, then it wouldn't even be considered good because you've never had bad days to see what bad even feels like.
Yeah. Like there has to be a balance.
Right, there has to be, a yin and yang, top, bottom, that kind of thing. So, and that gets me back to the energy thing, like as far as like afterlife and stuff, like when you die, your energy leaves your body and it goes back to
Energy
the
flows
earth,
in
you
the
know what I
air.
mean? Yeah, like
Like
energy is invisible. Okay? Cuz like yeah, my body grew in my mom, but consciousness didn't hit me until I was like 3 years old, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
until you
Like
gained all that energy to
right.
do these things.
Right. That's exactly what I mean. And then energy flows out of you. You learned who you were and had your experience and now you're a part of the earth. And in 1,000 years, the earth might be a part of a new person. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it flows. And so yeah, maybe you had a past life,
Yeah.
being somebody. That's not hard to believe. Maybe
No.
your energy flowed faster than the others, you know what I mean? If your life was cut too short.
I think it kind of just flows in and it flows out.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying like boom bam you're another person. No, I think it takes years. Like you're not immediately
Yeah,
gonna
like you
be
have you have
reborn.
a waiting period.
Yeah. Like say I had a past life in the like 19th century, like it's not gonna immediately like it has to flow.
Mhm.
You have to find where you're gonna be.
Right.
But you don't get to decide that, of course. But you get what I'm saying, like it's not
Yeah,
immediate, it takes years and years.
for the energy to come
Yeah.
back. And that also gets me back to mushrooms, because when you eat mushrooms, mushrooms are decomposers, right? They grow where death is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if they are the first things to pop up after energy leaves, what do you think they're full of?
Energy.
Right. So when you eat this mushroom that has psilocybin in it, and psilocybin, you can say is just like a spiritual magnifier. Here we
Yeah.
go again with the magnifying drugs, but like you eat it, it has that energy in it. That energy is magnified. Now you know and see things that you have never seen before because you just ate pure fucking energy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean that could, and like you just ate like thoughts and beliefs. Like you ate a part of,
Something else.
right, like you ate a part of energy, like just living. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
like energy that's still very
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
So, what do you think about like gods?
Like all of them, like mythology, stuff like that.
Well, like, what do you think about God? Like, do you think there's one God? Do you think there could be other gods?
Oh, I
What do you-
definitely think there could be other gods. Because if you look at all the different, like, nationalities and ethnicities, everyone has a different god they believe in. So, what's to say that ours is real but theirs aren't?
Right.
Like, say someone comes, like, to you, you only believe in one god,
Mhm.
but they believe in a different god. Why is mine true and yours is wrong?
Right.
Why don't I think it's possible they all could exist.
Right. And honestly, I think the same, but also I think it's up to perspective. So, we only know anything about gods because of the people who came before us, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a big ass game of telephone. You know what I mean? It really could just be one story that
That's
we don't understand yet. You know what I mean?
I want to say this, but it might be very controversial.
What is
So, I don't know if it will be, but so like history books, the Bible, stuff like that. How do we know it's true when
else
we don't
wrote it?
have someone there who was present during all that, and the Bible didn't come till years after the 17th century?
Right.
So, how do we know all this is true? How do we know someone's just not feeding us lies that they think? Like,
Exactly.
there's
And
no way to tell if it's true.
that's my opinion on math, bro. Because who the fuck came up with that? Like, I get like a basic, understanding of math, but like all them X's and shit, that shit didn't have to exist until some motherfucker was like, hey, look at this. You know what I mean? Look what I
Yeah.
made. Some sick motherfucker in his basement fucking doing God knows what comes out with this, look at what this does. And people are like, oh, that's pretty cool.
And then it just
let's
gets like faded and inserted into the world where it's mandatory.
Right. And it's like it never had to be that. And who's to
Like,
say that any of that stuff even makes sense?
I don't see how I'm going to need that in my life.
Like that specifically, hell no. Like I don't understand like the X and stuff. Like if you're doing something like that, just do it simpler. Like it doesn't have to be that complicated, you know what I
No.
mean?
And like back to the Bible, there is so many different versions of the Bible,
Mhm.
and notice how they're all different. It's
Right.
because they're all coming from people with different perspectives on things they've heard.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If it's a badass game of telephone, like, okay, let's say that gods are real, okay? And like the concept of having somebody rule over this planet is real, okay? Cuz I'm not going to say that it is and I'm not going to say that it isn't, but let's say that it is because we really don't know.
Yeah.
Say that it is. So, who's to say that these gods, in the early ages of Earth did do stuff and they did have names and the people of Earth did know about them?
Yeah.
By now, yeah, everybody's gonna split up and have their own gods and have their own beliefs because, I mean, shit travels. It's a badass game of telephone.
Yeah. Oh god, I was gonna say something else.
So that just makes me think that, like, yeah, sure, there is gods, but I don't know how to communicate with them. I don't know, once I find that out, then I can maybe find out the story of what it really
Yeah.
is. But nobody has tried that hard to figure it out.
And also, like thinking of it, we have evidence that dinosaurs did exist. But why are they called dinosaurs? I'm sorry, I just really want to know. Like, who came up with this and it just turned into history? Like, like, we have evidence of, I wouldn't say cavemen, but drawings in caves that are obviously millions of years old.
Way, way before
But
our time.
we don't know who did those. Why are we calling them cavemen? Like, yeah, they
Yeah.
were in a cave, but that don't mean they lived there.
Right, like, but a lot of that evidence and stuff comes from, like, biology, they look at the skulls and how
Yeah.
the bone is shaped, and then they go from there knowing what we know about our
Yeah.
anatomy and other animal
The
anatomy.
evolution.
Right, and then
Have
we
you-
go into like how they're built to survive.
Have you ever looked at an ape skeleton? It is almost identical to the human skeleton, but shrunken shorter and the jaw is longer. Who's to say we didn't evolve from apes? But also, you have to think, if we evolved from apes, why do we have apes still? You know, like, it's kind of like,
Mind-boggling.
yeah.
Who are you talking to?
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Like, the different Bibles, it's just,
Yeah.
it hurts my brain to think about. Because it's just like, how do we know these existed? How do we know blah, blah, blah? Like, if you think about the people that they say existed, like, okay, I've been learning art history, so I'm gonna say in, like, the names I know. But, like, Medicini.
Medicini?
Yeah, it's
The
Spanish.
Medici.
It's de Medici. That's what it is. But
The Medicini.
I'm only, like, saying this because we watched a documentary on it. But who's to say he existed? Like, who's to say this isn't just something they made up? Like, yeah, the building the thing is in does still exist to this day.
But the thing is, though, that wasn't as long ago as you
Yeah.
think it is. Like Picasso, he was like alive when like New York was becoming a thing. Like I mean, shit. Here, let me look it up. Look up. Actually, I could. Picasso died April 8th of 1973. He died in the 70s, like when the first.
And people think he died so long ago.
Right, and that's really not that long ago at all.
No. Like, my mom was about to be born when he died, and my mom is only like 42.
Right.
But people think it's like hundreds of years ago. Like, it's not that long.
Yeah. But shit with like the Bible, you know, that is something that could get fucked up along the road, but like Picasso, that is something that we know.
We
You
were
know.
here. People that were there are still here
To say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like people that knew him. Like,
Mhm.
we have people from that time that can tell us the truth.
Right.
But things from the 1300s.
But also, you know, are they telling the truth?
Well, you get what I'm saying, though. Like, the 1300s, we don't have that time period to tell us what happened during that. So how do we know that what the people are telling us now is true about the 1300s?
Mhm. It's like the exact.
Now, the Renaissance, I do believe that happened. I do.
Yeah, because the Renaissance wasn't that long ago.
Really? Wasn't it like the 1800s?
Maybe you're right.
Early 17th century. Like, that's a while ago. I don't know.
Bro, these are actually good.
My brain hurts.
True. And I think we have enough.
Yeah.
So that will be it for tonight. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will be back soon with another episode for you.
Yes. Mwah.
Good night.